Hey guys, welcome to my Encore guide. In this video I'm gonna talk about her base kit, her weapon comparisons, her best teams, her best echo sets and what stats you want to run on those. And most importantly, the hidden mechanics and advanced mechanics you can do on Encore. So sit tight, enjoy this video, like and subscribe, and have fun with the video. First, we are gonna have to talk about her base kit. If you already know what her abilities and passives do, feel free to skip to the timer shown on the screen, because we are just gonna be talking about her base kit. Encore uses the rectifier as her weapon and is of the fusion element. She will deal 5 instances of ranged normal attack damage based on the fusion element to her enemies. Her hold attack will fire a small projectile at the enemy, dealing some fusion damage. You will not be using this hold attack all the time because it changes once you have your fourth circuit full. Your fourth circuit is this small bar above your HP shown at the bottom of the screen. You stack it full by doing basic attacks, by doing charge attacks, intro skills, ultimates, and so on. So as long as you deal damage to the enemy, this bar will slowly but surely rise to the max. And once it is full, you will be able to hold down your charge attack and Encore will be on the field, stunning herself for a couple of seconds and then dealing massive damage to all the enemies around her. At the same time, she will also be reducing her own damage taken by 70%. And while you are stunned, you will still be able to swap to your teammates and Encore will be on the field, charging up her attack and dealing massive damage. So you don't have to worry about stunning yourself for 3 seconds, as you can swap to your teammates and still deal damage with them. With her resonance skill she fires a lot of fireballs, and at the end of the animation she fires an even bigger fireball at the enemy, dealing more damage. She will also stun herself just like her hold attack, but similarly to that you will be able to swap out during this attack for a different teammate to deal some bonus damage on them. With her Resonance Liberation, aka her ultimate, she will transform herself into the Cosmos Wave state, in which her basic attack, hold attack and skill will work differently. Her basic attack changes from a 5-hit ranged combo to a 4-hit melee combo, which she can perfectly use to counter the enemy with her parries, because her ranged state is a little bit harder to accomplish this, but with her melee state she will actually be able to parry them perfectly. At the same time, of course, her damage increases. Her skill changes from many projectiles firing at the enemy to an X-shaped object that she just throws at the enemy, dealing some fusion damage. The best part about this skill is that she will be able to cancel her 4th basic attack of her ultimate form, so you will be able to combo a little bit quicker. So this is a little hidden technique for her, which we will be talking about later into this video with more detail. Next, let's talk about the intro and outro skill, where she uses her concerto energy. So her intro skill is pretty simple. She will just jump into the battle, dealing some fusion damage. Her outro skill on the other end is similar to that, where she will jump out of the field, dealing some damage. In this state, she will create a field on the ground, dealing fusion damage every couple of seconds. And this attack actually does quite a lot of damage. For her 2 passives, she will increase her damage based on different conditions. For this one, for example, she will increase her own damage by 10% if your HP is above 70% and while you're in your ultimate form. With her other passive, after you have used your resonance skill on the base form or in your ultimate form, she will gain an increased damage for 10% for 10 seconds. The buffs might look a little small, but be sure to level them regardless. Especially smaller traces as well, they will give you fusion damage and some attack. Just level them. Now for the sequences, her first sequence will increase her fusion damage by 3%, stacking up to 4 times, each time she does a basic attack. Her second sequence will restore 10 energy when you do a basic attack or skill. This can only be triggered once every 10 seconds. This is pretty nice because you will be able to save out on some energy regen stats and focus more on damage. Her third sequence will increase her damage of the heavy attack by 40%. And with her fourth sequence she will act as a support, because she will now increase the fusion damage bonus of all her team members by 20% for 30 seconds. And this also includes Encore's fusion damage as well. Her S5 and S6 both just increase her damage. As for her best weapons, the standard 5-star rectifier Cosmic Ripples is her best choice for now. 11% worse than that is the 4-star weapon Augment, and 5% worse than that is the Jinjo Keeper. Keep in mind that Yinlin's banner is around the corner, and with this also her weapon called the String Master. And this weapon is 15% better, or about 15% better, than Cosmic Ripples. It features crit rate, a high basic attack and an incredible passive for Encore to use. One part of the passive increases damage dealt from off the field. While Encore might not be able to utilize this to its fullest like Yinlin, she will still be able to deal damage from the off field with her resonant skill or with her hold basic attack. So if you want your Anchor to deal the most damage possible, wait a couple of days until Yinlin drops and get the String Master. One nice thing to add is that in the Tower of Adversity, you can actually swap around the weapons. So one team can be Yinlin and the other team can be Anchor, and you will still be able to use this weapon on both characters. Now for her best echo sets, put the 5-piece Molten Rift on her because it will increase the fusion damage dealt. If you don't have a 5-piece set of this one yet, you can also choose to mix and match a 2-piece combo between this one, the Moonlit Clouds or the Lingering Tunes. They will increase your energy gain and attack, which is always great. But if you have the 5-piece, choose this one. For the main echo you want to use, choose the Inferno Rider. It deals a lot of damage and increases the basic attack damage and fusion damage of Anchor. And she utilizes basic attacks pretty well, so choose this one. The Inferno Rider has a slight negative to it, and that is its long animation. You will be able to swap out of the third attack where he summons a meteor, but overall it's still a long animation. And later in this video I will also be showing when you can swap out of the Inferno Rider while he summons his meteor, so stay tuned. For her echo loadouts, you want to go 4, 3, 3, 1, 1, with the focus being the Molten Rider. You want to focus on crit rate or crit damage on this one. Both of the 3 costs focus on being fusion damage, and both of the 1 costs are attack bonus. For the substats, you want to focus on crit damage, crit rate, energy regen, attack percentage, basic attack damage bonus, and if you happen to get heavy attack damage bonus, it's also fine. Now for her best teams. Anchor, just like any other DPS, wants Verena or Baiji in her team, as they are just the most universal supports. For her other teammate, Sanhua is very great. She shares basic attack damage to Anchor, which is always great because Anchor does a lot of basic attack damage during her ult. If you run the 5-piece Moonlit Cloud set on Sanhua, she will also increase the attack of Anchor by a lot, especially if you run the Impermanence Heron on her. Sanhua herself is very quick on the field and does a lot of damage and shares a lot of energy for Anchor, so they synergize very well. Another good teammate, not as good as Sanhua, is Modify, as he will also deal a lot of damage and share the heavy attack damage bonus to Anchor, and Anchor's heavy attack does a lot of damage already. Now for Tower of Adversity, if you need some team space, Jianjing and Yang Yang are also good choices because they can group up the enemies. Now for my favorite part of this video, it are the advanced mechanics of Anchor. Parrying is not very easy, as you will do your first attack of your basic attack string and it will just not be able to parry. Just certain attacks will parry. The third hit of a basic attack, for example, will do a parry if you time it correctly. Her plunge attack will also do a parry if you time it correctly. And so will all her ult hits, because in her ult form she will enter a melee state, and with this she can parry all attacks if you time it correctly. One thing to add to all of this is that after a perfect dodge of her, she will immediately do her third basic attack. So if you time this one correctly, you will also be able to use this to parry an enemy. Now for her ultimate, it is shown on the screen as a tip where you can deal more damage in a shorter period of time with her. Her ultimate is a 4-hit attack, and at the end of the animation she summons down her puppet. And you can cancel this puppet's animation by doing her skill or her dash to deal more damage in a shorter period of time. Now for her legendary swap out attacks. During the long ass animation of her hold attack where she summons tibbers at her enemies, just swap out to your teammates. Same can be said during her skill where she fires a lot of fireballs. If you swap to your teammate, deal some damage with them and swap back to Anchor to finish with the big fireball, you will deal more damage and gain some extra energy, so that's something nice to note. Another swap out attack can be made with her Echo Molten Rider. At the third hit of this Echo, you can summon the meteor and then swap out when he's already summoning the meteor. The last swap out mechanic I know at the moment is with the last attack of her normal attack where she summons down her puppets at the enemy, so when she's summoning the puppet, just swap to a different teammate. Well, I have no more infos to share for this video. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe button. I always wanted to say that, and if you've got any more questions left to ask them down below in the comments, as I will be sure to read them. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if it was, I want to see you in the next video. Goodbye!